Yes, indeed. The media do tend to follow the way society is going, but they can influence them around the margins. I'll give you two examples. One was is the British attitude towards the European Union and all its instruments. There is a relentless and ceaseless flow of propaganda against Brussels, which comes every single day in all the British tabloid newspapers. They are extremely sophisticated and extremely well produced and very cleverly written articles, day after day after day. Nothing positive is ever published about Brussels, about what Brussels does, or the context of what Brussels is doing. Most of these newspapers are actually sort of owned by foreigners, like Conrad Black, who was a Canadian, or Rupert Murdoch, who's an American Australian. They're not actually owned by British people. Now, they do not change the skepticism of the British yeoman, if you like, about Europe and all things European, because that goes back hundreds of years. But they do influence it, they do reinforce it, and they do make it very, very difficult for the rest of society to try and change it, and those people who actually do know what the European does and how it works, to try and get a more positive attitude. And that is why you won't find too many referendums upon European issues in Britain, because the press coverage has completely changed or exaggerated the way that British people think about it. The other example I'd give is Michael Burke's film of shot in Ethiopia, which led to the Aid concerts 20 years ago, which was the first film that anybody had ever seen about the extent of the famine in some very inaccessible parts of Ethiopia. And it changed the way British society thought about Africa. And over the past 30 years, that change has remained constant. Now, you can argue as much as you like whether Live Aid, as the concert was called, actually was a good thing or a bad thing, whether the money that was produced was used properly, whether it was positive, or as Dambisa Moyo says, was actually having a negative, harmful effect. But it did change society, the action of that one journalist, and more to the point, the Reuters man who fixed up the trip that took him there. These do actually change. It's around the margin. They work on characteristics which are already there, and they will exaggerate it. You can't change the direction of the ship completely, but you can alter it a little bit. That will be my perspective anyway. Sorry.